Hey, Christoph. Mic's on. Um, s- oh, right off the bat, I guess I should listen to a little bit more Tony Robbins. I think it's interesting that that was a reference to some of the stuff he's done. I know like some of the stuff that he does is pretty universal themes, but it seems like you've taken a lot away from his talks. I think we've had some brief conversations about that. Then cool to hear what you're grateful about. Always nice to just be reminded of all the things we have. It's pretty cool. Um, then when you ask me about decisions, how I make big decisions, nice throwing the question right back at me. Um, Part of the reason I ask this is I'm really not great at them. I end up trying to play out every possible outcome. For example, the decision to go back to college. I'm at home right now working, and so what could have boiled down to a binary like, am I going back to college or not, got so much more convoluted, and other options came up, like looking at doing an incubator in Singapore, moving to Boulder and not going to school, going back to CU, or staying home and continuing to work slowly, an apprenticeship at a graphic design company. Like all those options came out, and then they end up getting me where I want to go, but some of them are faster than others, and some of them are safer. So they're kind of school is one of the safer options because it builds a credential that I can use if the website doesn't turn out how I want it to be or how I imagine it being. So at the end of those decisions, it ended up like I do all the things, an enormous amount of research, asking people for help, and then checking with my gut, but it just ends up kind of narrowing down to still a large set of decisions. And so I'm that's part of what I've been spending in this last year thinking about is making decisions more efficiently and making them less stressful, because I do think a lot of that the stress involved is self-imposed. Then kind of what I want to talk to you about today is screen time. So I've been thinking about it a lot today, because on Sunday, yeah, Sunday, um, I bought an iPad Pro, to get further into digital illustration and further with graphic design. Having a sketch pad everywhere without carrying around a million different kinds of pens and things like that. Also an animation studio, which is pretty cool. I don't need to defend it to you. Um, but here's how today went then. So I was planning to go to work, found out that we didn't have work early this morning. So I got up at 7, came right over here. My bed's right over there. Came right over here, put on the final touches, and pieced together a thing for my ITLL logo submission for their contest. Edited some photos from my mom. Then I hadn't opened up the iPad, so this morning I unboxed it, got it set up, got Procreate installed, and got another animation app installed, and started working with those. Um, and that I kind of experimented with those and toyed around with watching tutorials and things, getting into those until about noon, and then I took a break to do a bodyweight workout and then eat, and then pretty much immediately after that, right back into experimenting more with Procreate, and continuing to learn how the app works and getting a feel for it. But I ended up doing that from about 1 or 2 until about 8 p.m. And then I just kind of took a break. My eyes just felt dead, and it was just like drained from using all the just from using screens all day. And so technically it was a productive day, and it was all stuff that I care about, but it was just movement from screen to screen to screen, and it didn't feel super great at the end of the day. I want to have work that takes me away from the screen, but like how and kind of what. So drawing on paper is for sure an option, but in my mind it's also still like staring at a plane just a couple of feet away from your face. I want to go outside and do something for work, but it feels like all my work is screen based, and probably pretty similar for you too. Um, Only thing I can think of is kind of going for a run, and I'm probably going to try that tomorrow, depending on when I get back from work. But just that having separation. But I don't I kind of don't want like exercise to be the only. I want to do graphic design stuff, but I want to do it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. So I guess like the question comes: do you ever get fatigued from looking at screens all the time? I can imagine a lot of your day is screens as well, and if it is, do you intentionally break it up? And if so, how do you break it up and still be productive towards what you care about? I'll see you tomorrow.